Alright everyone, welcome back to another video. Hope you're having a great week and all. But today we're talking about the biggest threat to each champion in the UFC right now. I'm actually pretty excited about this. I'm going to list 3 weaknesses of each champion, and I'm going to list a fighter that could potentially exploit these weaknesses. And I'll give another quick disclaimer here. This disclaimer is not like, this prospect has this. These are immediate threats in like the next couple year or month. You know, like bang, bang, the newest thing. It's not predicting the next title matchup per se, you know? Anyways, at heavyweight, so for John Jones, what I wrote down is that he's not a good boxer. He's got pillow hands. He doesn't have a good high guard. He struggles with the speed and the reach, mainly when they employ like a heavy blitzing style. And he's not really great off the back foot defensively. You just have to find a way to keep him there, which he's obviously very tough because he's such a high Q. But for Aspinall, he's a great fighter, man. Striking jumps off the page, but he's well rounded overall. He's got all the physical attributes to beat John. And that's really what it's going to come down to is how can you out physical him, because the IQ is always going to go to John no matter what happens. No matter what Aspinall says, the IQ, and he'll probably admit that the IQ is always going to go to John. He's the size, length, weight, speed, and he's got the power. And then the grappling background for Tom means he won't get like surreal gunned. He might still get taken out, but he's not going to get ragdolled and choked out. Now, the real question is, can Tom go into those deep waters if John takes him there? But I don't even know if he needs to be honest. And then, again, Aspinall's counter wrestling, speaking of the deep waters, like, how good is Aspinall on his back foot? How good is he counter wrestling? And Aspinall does get clipped by shots, like, a couple times. I watched a video today. It's about 35 seconds long of him getting clipped, and he always finds a way to win, so it's not like a real concern, but I have to put something there. And I think John's pillow hands won't even really matter in the end. That's a quick one right there. Light heavyweight, I have no idea. I don't think Alex Burr has any immediate threats. I'll explain why. So Khalil, you're like we gotta go with weaknesses. Sorry, no, sorry with Khalil. I'm jumping ahead of myself. Weaknesses that I wrote down is Alex Burr doesn't really handle the blitz well or super heavy pressure. He has these pockets of like complete stupidity. He'll just abandon all IQ and reasoning to just go into attack mode, and you can get clipped, you can get hurt doing it. And then he's next to useless at that mid range where it's not quite kicking range, it's not quite boxing range. You kind of it's like a dial up computer. It's like figuring out where it goes. You know, so Yuri jumped out at me, but we obviously know what happens there. So Khalil, like I mentioned earlier, was able to touch him up with the blitz, but he was admiring his work. You know, he was throwing 1-2, and then he was sitting there and waiting. And then Easy, I know it's at 85, has really been the only one who's been able to take advantage of the fact that he has these momentary lapses, bro. Like against the cage, especially, you actually kind of want to fight backwards and go back to the cage against Pereira because they'll just start throwing at you. And I know he had moments with Khalil too, where like the front kick in the first round, he got clipped by the head kick, all kinds of moments in the Khalil fight. Um, yeah. So, for the reasons why I think Alex has no threats, another one Izzy isn't really coming to 205. I think it would make a difference either way. But Yuri got KO'd at close range. Like Yuri had a lot of success at mid range, but every other range he was getting pieced up basically in those fights. And obviously we know what happened in the second one. I don't even want to talk about it. And then Khalil, I just think Khalil would have lost even at sea level. I don't think Khalil had the footwork, the technique, and I also think Pereira would have been a lot more aggressive because remember at Jan Blachowicz, he gassed out super early. He kind of had that in the back of his mind. Now Ankalaev said he won't shoot, and I trust Ankalaev. He said he wouldn't shoot against Rakic, and he didn't. He's a man of his word. So if Rakic doesn't shoot, he's gonna get absolutely destroyed. He's not dynamic enough on the feet. He's not gonna be able to blitz Alex and really pressure him. He's not gonna be okay. I don't think Magomed Ankalaev is going to be able to put himself back, like I said, back to the cage in a really uncomfortable spot. I just don't think he has, I can see the striking in his bag. The only way to get a nightmare matchup for Pereira is you need to have like a crazy chin, crazy speed, crazy head movement, crazy defense, and crazy power. And you also need to have pretty solid wrestling to like have Alex drop his hands a little bit. But that's just not happening. So middleweight for DDP, I give him Sean Strickland as the matchup. I know they already fought, and I'll explain in a minute why. So the cardio and pace, I mean, DSP. What am I talking about? DDP kind of just runs in this like RNG random number generator of just overhands and looping hooks and gasses out by the third every fight. He's also not really a good scrambler at the end of the day. He kind of just does random things to hide it, especially in the grappling exchanges. He's got good offensive wrestling as well. And his defense is very limited. He doesn't really move his head, barely uses his high guard. He basically just eats shots and he'll cover up occasionally. He just does a really good job of manipulating range so he doesn't get really touched up, like hit hard. But I think Strickland is the tools man. Good boxer, weird style, phenomenal cardio. That's how you beat DDP. I mean, you already gave DDP a tough fight. It was 3-2 Strickland in my opinion, but we can have the debate for another video about like robberies that happened or whatever. Sean Strickland's scrambling is very technical. It's very, I know people say, oh, DDP took him down, but he was getting up like bang, bang, bang very easily. His scrambling is very technical. I also think he would honestly beat Hamzat because his scrambling and is technically sound is that good. He won't get in the position that Robert Whitaker got in. I think DDP might probably lose to Hamza. If DDP shoots first, I think DDP wins. I know I'm going crazy right now, but anyways, for the cons, Dracus did throw 2 rounds on purpose, so I think an aggressive DDP would be very interesting against Sean Strickland. I'll get into further why. Now, DDP has these random pockets where he's like super technical, so he might honestly apply a more technical approach, especially in a rematch with Sean Strickland, given how technical Sean Strickland is. Now, Sean Strickland's defense, Azeleki Dos Santos knocked him out. Like, it's really the looping hooks and the looping overhands are how you beat his defense because it's so fundamentally sound. He's to throw equally as random crap to his equally random defense, and it's just a clash of heads. I don't know who I have for the second fight, to be honest. I don't know. Anyways, welterweight, I think Kamaru is Bilal's nightmare matchup, and we'll get into why. The weaknesses I wrote for Bilal. His opponent pretty much if his opponent's on the front foot, Bilal doesn't really do well against counter pressuring, as you could call it. His head movement and overall defensive responses are super limited. Not really a great counter attacker, and he's not really dynamic enough. If you get his reads and stuff, his shots, you basically have him as a sitting duck. I mean, like Leon in the first fight, I don't want to cope for Leon, but if you looked at Leon was going forward, didn't care with takedowns, was absolutely dominating Bilal. But anyways, Usman, good fighter, phenomenal wrestling, good boxing, the Muay Thai also as well, great cardio. I think all-time great takedown defense, man. One of the best, some of the best ever. Will definitely help Usman level the playing field. And styles make fights. And Usman style, man, I think Usman style really could be Bilal. I know we'll get into a little bit now. Does Usman really want to be uncomfortable, be on the back foot, go 5 rounds, or does he want to fight some contender he can just whoop? You know what I mean? Does Usman really have it in him left? And can he also really get Bilal's reads and also defend all the pressure? Because Bilal's going to get the Canelo boxing, right? He's going to sit there and just throw jabs and throw things at you. He's going to be in your face. And I don't really know if Usman wants to get up from the desk, get up from the couch, and do that. I think Usman still going to fight. I don't think Usman's going to retire. But I don't think Usman wants to just be in an uncomfortable position, like off the back foot against Bilal. I don't know why I'm glazing Bilal so hard right now, but you guys understand what I'm saying, though? I don't think Usman really wants to grit and dog his way out for another title fight. I don't think he has it in him. Just no disrespect to Usman. We know I like Usman on the channel. Anyways, lightweight. So call me crazy. I really think Max Holloway will be the guy to take out Islam. You can call me crazy. You can call me absurd. You can call me this. You can call me that. I think he will. I think that Shin is still going to be pretty solid. I think Taporia is just that powerful. But the weaknesses we're done for Islam, he leans back a lot in the pocket and he gets super off balance. And another thing, he overcommits in his head movement. He just worked on his head movement and it sucks. He overcommits all the time. And he can't really get his grappling off in open space. But he got the ankle pick. Who cares? Generally speaking, he's not a great grappler in open space. I'll break this down in like even simpler terms to beat Islam. You don't go to the fence. You just outbox him with technical reactions, reads, keep the fight in open space. That sounds like someone I know. That sounds like a masterclass from someone I know. I know it's just in Gaethje, but you know what I mean, though? That sounds very similar to the way Max Holloway fought Gaethje. I think Holloway, styles make fights. I think Holloway does have the style to beat, even Calvin Kattar as well. I'm reading in my notes here. His masterclasses have always been circling around the octagon, putting up the boxing, putting up the pressure, counterpunching, reacting. His masterclasses have never been like kickboxing fights. They've been counterpunching and circling around. I think also the game planning also is going to help Max Holloway a ton. I think his game plans are phenomenal. I think Islam is very exploitable. I don't think Arman is technically sound enough to do so, but I think a guy like Holloway could very much exploit. I mean, Poirier kind of did, but then Poirier got the grappling threat, and then he got injured in the fight, all that stuff. But I think you could really expose Islam if you put him against Max Holloway. I also think Max Holloway's takedown defense against the fence is pretty good. You notice the Poirier had to rotate him a little bit to take him down when he did that. I know people forget that, but I think Holloway, man, it'll be interesting to see if this fight actually happens. Now the cons, Top Toro basically showed everyone how to basically counter Max's circling by just constantly pressuring him and backing him up. And I think Islam need a similar game plan, not to like knock him out like Top Toro, no offense Islam, but definitely like using the clinch, using ankle pick threats, using stuff like that, trying to basically say, hey, you can't just roam free. I'm gonna get you, you know? I think Islam just he finds a way to win. As much as I like am indifferent on him, I like him sometimes, but I also don't like him, so I'm rather indifferent. He finds a way to win. He's always outmatched skill for skill. Stylistically, Volk's more skilled, Poirier's more skilled, but he always finds a way to win. He just is MMA brother. You know, he finds a way, and I like that about him. I really do. Now, honestly, my concern, I know it's an older one, but the size at 155 for Max Holloway has always been a concern. He doesn't really get huge at 55, especially against Islam. He's going to get huge. Holloway was going against Gaethje. He's probably 170 pounds. I think, yeah, right. Gaethje's about 170, 175, and Holloway was right around there. I think Holloway would really need to like fill out his frame, get to like 190, probably 185, 190 ish, because Islam's like what 190, 200, not 200. He's like 183, 190, right around that range. So yeah, I still think Holloway can be the guy to do it. To be honest. Now, Diego Lopez is a very interesting one for Ilia Abtoro, whatever you want to call him. What I wrote down for Ili Abtoro Top Toro. To my notes, I have down limited head movement, Elite isn't very good on the back foot when he's put in the position, and then tall fighters really give him a harder time. I know how he knocked out Holloway, yada yada yada, but Holloway still able to touch him up a little bit. Jai Herbert got him. Taller fighters just historically have been a little bit of a issue for Taporia. Now, I think Lopez is a very good striker. I think his striking's honestly kind of not underrated, but I think we kind of sleep on him as a striking. But I think he really could knock out Taporia, especially they're all saying about Taporia's chin or his body not being able to handle 45. His chin might not be there. I also think Lopez's grappling is also very solid if it goes to the ground. I think Lopez, very good pressure, very good combos, change things well, hits hard, and does it often. He's got very good size featherweight. It's definitely going to play a factor, being just a large person, a large human being, against the power of Ilia Taporo. Now, according to my Diego Lopez Council of DLE and DLF, Diego Lopez enthusiast and Diego Lopez fan. I think he has some numbers, but shout out them, by the way. They helped me with this video because I wasn't really familiar with his game, to be honest. I watched Ortega fight, and I've watched him, but I didn't analyze it, and they analyzed it for me. A lot of collaboration that goes on in this channel behind the scenes, but they basically said Lopez is super reckless, and it's going to be a knockout threat for Taporia because Lopez likes to throw things with his hands down and kind of press forward and march forward, and Taporia's power is going to be able to crack him because he's cracked everybody. I don't think that's going to change, honestly. Now, I think this is my thing. They said it's not really a real concern. This is my thing. Lopez got a pipe jammed in his Adam's apple, and he scratches Adam's apple. I have a feeling Ilya, knowing his personality and gamesmanship, is gonna time some stupid a straight to the chin or a hook to the chin when he starts scratching his Adam's, or a head kick, something stupid. Just knowing Ilya Taporia as a fighter. Now, I know this fight already happened at bantamweight. For Marab. Let's read out this me a Marab slander, Marab diss fest. So Marab is either really reckless on the feet, charges forward, or he does nothing. There's no in between. He's never in the mid range or in the pocket. He's always double down, double down, double down, or chill guy. There's never I'm gonna try to set my jab up, find some range. It's just I'm gonna charge at you with my hands down, throwing jabs and hooks. I'm gonna get clipped, or I'm gonna basically stand 14 feet away from you. Marab literally just fails takedowns. His whole entire career is just failing takedowns. You can scramble. I know I said he was top 5 over, but if you can scramble your way out, you can win. And then this comes back to what I first said. But in general, he really has 2 modes of fighting: either doing everything at once or nothing at all. You should catch him when he's doing nothing somehow. And if we're not talking about catching people at random times, Piotr's very good at that. Now, I know Piotr lost the first fight, but he had 1 arm, so I think a healthy rematch is going to be very tough for Marab. Piotr, man, he has the IQ. He's very technical. He can box Marab's big nose off. His big head, his little goblin head right off. I think the IQ will certainly come into play because considering Marab's game plans are super mindless. It's just that on and off switch, failing takedowns. The thing with Marab though is you just he fails takedowns, smothers your lungs, bruises your thighs. He makes it uncomfortable, and a lot of people just don't know how to handle it mentally. They don't want to be in that dogfight. Not even dogfight. They just don't want to be just. How do I word this without getting canceled? They get pleasantly caressed and hugged. There you go. Okay. You know what I was going for though, right? Basically the only way in order to beat Marab is to simply outlast him because his plot armor is absurd. He's not even that good. I don't know if Jan will be able to outlast him unless Jan has to get crazy conditioning, go to bro, I don't even know, the hyperbolic time chamber or something in China. He has to go there, bro. That's the only way, man. You'd have to outlast him somehow. If you can outlast Marab, you can beat him. I have to watch the Eldo fight. Anyways, flyweight, I have no one. I took a pause there because I was trying to think. Maybe someone could come to me. No, it's for a lot of reasons. Now, I will get into Pantoja's weaknesses because he does actually have some. It's very clear. He loves to have a scramble fest, get in close and just get dirty. And the way to beat that is just elbows, stuff to the body. DD boxing. DD boxing. Short man. DD boxing. In the words of Yoel Romero, dirty boxing. He's not really dominant in either of the facets of his skills. I think he just has the grit, the chin, and just the heart to just beat everybody. And another thing, head movement, not really much there. So he just kind of eats punches on the chin. Now, I think Josh Van, call it glazing, might be able to do this, but it's years down the road. So let's talk about, as recent as we can go. Pantoja's already cleaned out flyweight. There is no one new. There are no title contenders. Asu Almabayev is the only one I can think of, and I think his style of grappling might be a little tricky. But at the same time, Pantoja's going to find a way to put him in a bully choke. Pantoja's going to find a way. Roy Vel, also good scrambler, already beat him twice. And Ursay was able to cut him up with elbows, already kind of debatably beat Ursay, and I don't know. I just don't think. I mean, it was a jiu-jitsu matchup, basically jiu-jitsu on jiu-jitsu matchup. Urseg's been striking a little bit, getting a little comfortable in the striking, but that's styles make fights. But I still don't think Urseg in the rematch would make a significant like threat. Anyways, yeah, none of the contenders. This is like my blueprint. You basically have to have elite Muay Thai with really technical scrambling and tons of power in order to crack his chin. So you basically have to be like Figgy and Rod Tang put together with infinite cardio and infinite scrambling. Basically, that's like the only way to beat Pantoja. And I just don't think there's a human being on the planet that can actually match the description in the next couple of months. Someone might be able to develop into it. You know what I mean? But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. No women, by the way. I'm not gonna talk about them. I know they're champions. Shout out women, but I'm not gonna talk about them anyways. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I certainly did, and God bless.